Hi, so this is a video showing the procedure to unpack one of our lift and slide doors. So you'll see here that there's going to be a 2x12 on the outer layer on all four sides of these doors. And we use that mainly for bigger units, and these lift slide doors can get extremely heavy. So that helps with these smaller frames. We have very small frames and they can be somewhat fragile, especially with this enormous weights that we can find in these doors. So those 2x12s really help stiffen the assembly and make transporting much simpler, and also moving around on the job site. You'll want to leave these 2x12s on the doors for as long as possible. You want to move these and get them close to your openings, and then you can remove them. And they're simply attached with drywall screws on the exterior, on the sides, the two verticals, across the top from the outside of the door, and there's no screws on the bottom whatsoever. So there's nothing holding the bottom on. Okay. Now you'll have to do a couple things, especially on this handle side, to remove that 2x12. One additional thing, and that means we have to actually open this sash and take out some components that are also threaded into that 2x12. Okay, so the first thing that you'll do, you'll remove this spreader bar right here. It has foam on there, and that's for a transportation stop, so that any shaking won't damage the lock mechanism on the handle side. Okay, so you'll want to remove that. And it's generally wedged in place, and you simply raise it up out of there. And so here we are on the handle side, and we're simply going to raise the door. This is a lift and slide door. Means the door is lifted, okay, from the bottom on rollers that are on the bottom side, and this handle will do that for us. So we'll turn it down 180 degrees, which lifts it. You'll slide that open. You'll notice these black, or they could be silver, these are screws that the lock, when the door closes, it sets on these, okay? And this is how you create the tightness, the air tightness on the handle side, is by screwing these in and out, okay, of the frame. There's 3 of them on this door. There could be 4, there could be 2, there could be more than 4, okay, depending on the height of the unit. And we simply take, I recommend just an open end wrench, an adjustable wrench with a rag. Wrap the rag around the pin, put the wrench on there, and unscrew these. You'll want to take these off in order to get this 2x12 off, or you may not have to take them all the way out, but most of the way, so they're not into the 2x12 anymore. Okay, so that'll let you take that 2x12 off. Then at the top of the door, we have these tracks. These are wooden tracks. Okay, we're going to have to remove the screws that are in those. Generally there's only 2 or 3, and those screws are actually also going into this top 2x12. So you're going to want to remove those screws from the tracks, and they'll be on both sides. Now these tracks are generally 2 pieces. If they were only 1, you wouldn't be able to get them in there in place. So they're a 2-piece door track. And notice their labeling on the top side when you unscrew them and bring them down. There'll be labels with arrows, so that means that track goes in this position, and it shouldn't go on the other side of the door. So it has a specific place it needs to go, okay? And so what we want to do is, once you have this stripped, or you can do it before, we need to remove this sash. Get it out of the unit so that it's much lighter, and you can deal with installing the frame without this sash, because it's just going to be in your way. So what we have to do is remove those top tracks, and you'll simply push the door over to one side, being cautious that you want to be cautious that sometimes there's a exterior handle, see? And you're going to be removing a stop that's in the corner of the door that's stopping this sash from sliding back, okay? So you don't have to remove that stop, but if you do, for some reason, you have to keep in mind that you don't want to run this handle into the post, the vertical post of the door, okay? So please keep that in mind, that you don't want to damage the handle or the post, okay? So right now the door's at a stop. It has a stop back there, okay? And now once the tracks are completely out, you'll put suction cups on the door on this side with the handle only, not the other side. And you're going to, you can do it while the door is lifted or when it's down. I find it easier if the door is lifted in the up position with the handle pointing down, okay? This is in the up position. And what we have to do is we have to lift this corner. So we basically cock the sash a little bit. So at the top, you'll notice there's two pieces called interlocks, and they're kind of shaped like a J. And the sash can't come out because of it's locked in there. So we have to raise the sash over that and decouple it, okay? So, and generally you do that when the sash, it's got to be like this because there's no interlock back on the fixed portion. It's only here in the operable sash opening, okay? So you're gonna lift this sash up, pop the top out, and the entire sash will be out at the top, okay? And you want to keep an angle on that and have some help. And then you're going to lift the door off and find a safe place to put that. Now the sash is completely out of the frame, okay? So, you know, one of the most important things about a lift and slide door is the threshold, the bottom of the frame. It has to be extremely flat and level. So we recommend shimming on heavier doors 8 inches apart, the shims underneath the frame. And you can go up to as much as 12 inches on smaller, lighter doors, but 8 inches and even smaller sometimes with extremely heavy doors, because you want underneath that threshold to be extremely rigid, because any movement in that is going to cause issues with the door sliding, because it's always going to be trying to create a wave and ride up those waves. So you want it very rigid underneath so it can't make those highs and lows as it rolls, okay? Because all this weight is on bottom rollers. They're on little wheels, okay? So they put a lot of pressure downwards onto the bottom track. Now, you'll see our bottom track down here, the black thing. Now, when you've got the sash out, you'll want to take some of the screws out. It's screwed in with a few screws from the factory. They're a little Phillips head screw. You'll want to take those out and then remove this track. Pay attention to how it came out. You want it to go back in the same way so all the holes line up. There's pre-drilled for screws, okay? And you're going to run the installation screws underneath that track so that they're hidden, so you don't see those after installation, okay? That's what we recommend. And over on this side, we either recommend you use straps, which we normally supply, which are attached on the back side of the frame. And some guys, it is an option. We also supply 3/8 inch tapered pre-finished wood plugs. And you can use those in this pre-finished wood. And you got to make sure that you use a really nice, sharp 3/8 drill bit, preferably a brad point with a sharp tip. And I recommend to run the drill in reverse until you score the face of the jamb in reverse. You want to score the face then you can put it in forward and you can continue drilling the hole. And pay attention to the depth of that 3/8 counter bore. You only need just a little bit deeper than the plug. So find the wood plugs that are supplied in a long strip from the factory. You can measure the depth of those and drill your hole slightly deeper than that. Then drill your 3/16 hole for the installation screw through the jamb, through that counter bore. So you'll have essentially two holes. You'll have a 3/16 and a 3/8 counter bore for the plug, okay? So if you lay those out real nice with tape, we like to use tape to lay those out in a square so you get the same distance from the edges. Or you can use the straps. But keep in mind with the straps, the screws that you use to apply to the rough opening, you'll probably want to have blocking back here so you're not distorting, you're not making the frame bowed or curved, okay? So that's really important as well. And the same is true at the top. We're going to use these pre-drilled holes in the track for a 7.5 millimeter diameter by 122 long screw so that you can get this up into a structure. That's going to provide rigidity, okay? And as you do that, you want to make sure this head stays perfectly straight. If we have any sagging in that head where it's coming down on top of the door's not going to work properly. It's going to rub up there. That head needs to be perfectly straight, and sometimes we find it might help if it's up a little bit in the center, a little bit higher, okay? And you can use the door sash to help you with that. You can install the door sash, which gives you a really nice, you can see the gap between the sash and the frame, okay? And that you can fine tune those. You don't need to put a long screw in every hole, maybe every other hole. And then we supply a 5 millimeter by, I think 60 millimeters long to fill the remaining holes, okay? So that's a tip there. And again, on the opposite the handle side, you'll use straps, or you can use the wood plugs with a trim head, 7.5 by 82 or a screw like that we supply, okay? So those are my tips. Thank you.